Someone asked me recently, if I had to start over again on sax, what things would I fix first? My name is Matt Hines. I've been playing saxophone professionally for over 15 years, and here are 3 things that I would fix first. Let's dive in. So the first thing that's a non-negotiable for me has to be tone and embouchure. When I first started playing saxophone, my first ever teacher said to me, would you rather listen to someone play really fast but with a terrible tone, or someone that plays slow but with a really beautiful tone? And that honestly was a no-brainer for me. So often when we start our saxophone journey, we are taught that you have to tuck your bottom lip over your bottom teeth. And it's great to start that way, and you'll find that it makes getting a sound out okay. But over time, I noticed that my jaw would get really tight and I'd get these nasty teeth cuts into the bottom lip. And I believe that there is perhaps a slightly better way to avoid those things from happening from the start. Now, this is an exercise you can try at home. So the first thing that you want to do is form an U shape with your mouth. And once you form that shape, place the mouthpiece into your mouth, and it shouldn't feel like your bottom lip is tucked under your bottom teeth. It should feel a little bit more out, and your mouthpiece should be resting nice and gently on top of your bottom lip. Now, once you do that, you want to be putting some air through the horn and just let the horn go flat. Now, it sounds a bit like this. That doesn't sound great, but what you want to do now is you want to raise your tongue until it starts to slowly meet the mouthpiece, but you don't actually want to be touching the mouthpiece. Just raise your tongue up towards it. And it should sound a little bit like this. Which I believe the sound now should feel like it's more in tune. And to take it a step further, to get an even wider and more free-blowing kind of sound, imagine that you're forming the O shape at the back of your throat. And if you're struggling with that, maybe just imagine that there's like a golf ball or something stuck back there. And you couple these two things together, it should sound a little bit like this. So the second thing that I do is I would slow everything down, because when I first started playing, I just want to play everything fast. And unfortunately, that led to me having to tidy up a lot of my technique, and I still work on it now, and I think I always will work on it. Is I will always be taking whatever thing that I'm working on, and I will slow it right down and to its absolute core, and really try to understand what it is that I'm playing. So that could be a phrase, it could be a set of scales, it could be a song that I'm learning, and all of those things, if you can't fundamentally play it at a very slow pace, it really exposes you when you start to try and play them fast. And sometimes it actually slows your progression if you're just trying to play everything fast straight away. And that's been a lesson I've had to learn over the years when I guess you just always want to try things fast, right? So for me, I found that if I take the necessary steps to slow things down, and one of the things that you can do very much in like any practice situation is take the metronome and slow it right down to half of the BPM that you're working on at the time. Or generally 50 to 60 beats per minute is a great place to start, and just play everything really slow with no articulation, really slurred, and then add articulation back in. And you'll find that it really does expose you and where what things need to be looked at and what things you do have together and what things you don't. So slow everything down. So the third and final thing I do, and honestly I wish I had discovered this as a kid, but I was just a kid and I didn't really understand the benefits and power of transcribing. And I got my first ever Charlie Parker Omnibook a couple years into my playing, and I just remember opening it up, seeing all of these crazy solos, trying to play parts of it, and kind of trying to play with the record whilst reading this transcription. And then I just kind of closed it up and put it away. And it wasn't until a few years later into my journey did I really understand that some of my favorite players and my heroes on the saxophone were really deep into transcribing, and a lot of their sound and their lines and their phrases and their approach came from transcribing. And I realized I actually had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't really understand at all what transcription was. I actually thought transcription was the act of writing it down and then reading the transcription and playing it back. I didn't really understand what was going on there. Now, fast forward sort of into a few years into my playing, I had a teacher that told me, if you can sing it, you can play it. And that was like one of those moments. And I didn't really understand it until he showed me how he was transcribing. He would listen to a solo a number of times until he could sing whatever part he was interested in transcribing. And he would relate the notes that he sang straight onto his instrument. And the actual process of singing and then finding the notes on your saxophone is incredibly powerful, and it ties both your voice and your instrument together. So it really does feel like the saxophone becomes an extension of you rather than just a tool, that you're just putting air through this instrument. It honestly feels more like a voice at that point. So once I discovered this, my transcription started to evolve, and I started to transcribe faster and more in depth because I wasn't just transcribing the notes. As soon as you start to do it more often, you start to realize that you're not actually focusing on the notes all the time. It's more the intention behind the note. How is this piece of music, how is it being accented? What's the intention behind it? Is it the phrasing that you're focusing on? Is it articulation? Is it the space? Is it where it's sitting harmonically on the chord? There's so many things in there. And I really believe that whatever instrument you play, if you transcribe whatever you feel like is the nicest things to your ear, what you enjoy the most, you will get incredible benefits from transcribing and trying to relate it to your voice and trying to put that on your instrument. I'm currently working on a cannonball solo, and there's just a few bars that I absolutely love. And before I've even actually tried to play it on the saxophone, I've listened to it a bunch of times, made sure that I can sing it back with the record, sing it without the record, and then I'll give it a go at transcribing it. And it just comes much more naturally now. And it's helped me in so many different situations, performances wise, learning songs really fast, learning on gigs whilst the gig is happening. And yeah, I would honestly, if I'd started that or understood that a bit earlier, I think it would have been a game changer. But it still is a game changer. I'm going to continue to do it. So no matter where you are in your journey, I honestly believe that it is one of the most beneficial things to do. So those are the 3 things that I'd fix. And if you found this video useful and you're interested in learning more, you can go ahead and reach out to me. My details are in the description. If you just want to see more content like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.